Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The Silent Watchers. The big meeting room was floating in the space between stars. It was a beautiful building made of a special kind of crystal that glowed with a soft light. This was the Galactic Trade Summit. It happens once every time the sun goes around the sky at a place called Harmony's Rest. This place is like a station where everyone can meet. Inside the room there were people from 43 different kinds of life. They all stood on platforms that were made just for them. Some of these people needed oxygen to breathe while others needed methane. Some were like energy and others had to wear suits so they could live in the air at the station. The Galactic Trade Summit was a deal. People from all these kinds of life came to Harmony's Rest to be a part of it. Ambassador James Rodriguez was standing on the platform that was set aside for species. He felt really small even though he is a man over 6 feet. His gray suit looked plain next to the fancy armor that the Kethrans were wearing. The Kethrans had armor that was made of crystal. The Luminari had energy ribbons that were flowing around them. The Vorlax delegation was wearing suits that were part machine and part living thing. Behind Ambassador James Rodriguez there were 2 people from Earth who were helping him. They were standing quietly and their faces did not show any emotions. The aliens were all looking at them with a lot of curiosity. The aliens were using their eyes and special sensors and fields to learn more about the humans. They were not trying to hide the fact that they were very interested in Ambassador James Rodriguez and the humans who were with him. The Kethrans and the Luminari and the Vorlax were all very curious about the humans. The person in charge of the meeting was a ball that could float around and it was really smart. This ball was one of the archivists. It talked to everyone at the meeting. Not out loud. It said the words into their minds. The ball said, "Now it is time to listen to the people who want to join the Galactic Trade Consortium. These people are called humans. They are from a place called Earth. The humans want to make deals with us. They also want to share technology with us. The humans from Earth are here to talk about trade agreements and technology exchange with the Galactic Trade Consortium." James took a step forward. His boots made soft noises on the shiny floor. This was a moment for humanity. He had thought about what he was going to say carefully. James wanted to make an impression on the other beings from different planets. He said, "Hello delegates, I am here to say hello from humanity. Humanity is a new species. We have only been going to space for 200 years. We want to be friends with you and learn from you. We also want to trade things with you that will be good for both of us. Humanity is happy to share what we have, our ideas. We really want to work together in peace." The room was really quiet for 3 seconds. Then people started laughing from lots of places all at the same time. The sound was really annoying. It was like a mix of clicks and whistles and rumbles and laughter. That silence was broken by the sound of laughter from multiple platforms. The laughter was a loud noise that included clicks and whistles and rumbles and telepathic waves of amusement from the people laughing. The telepathic waves of amusement did not need to be translated because they were very clear. High Commander Vex Thor of the Kethran Empire stood up from his platform. He is really 4 meters. His body is covered in scales that look like they are made of melted gold. The Kethran Empire has been in charge of 2,000 star systems for a long time. 12,000 years. When High Commander Vex Thor of the Kethran Empire speaks you can tell he is very important. He said, "What do you mean by friendship? You are talking about being friends with the Kethran Empire? You are not even as advanced as the Kethran Empire. You still use fusion drives. The Kethran Empire can travel through space fast. You can only go at barely light speed. The Kethran Empire has 2,000 star systems. You only have a star systems." People in the room started laughing more. A guy from Vorlax, with his robot arms making clicking sounds because he was amused, leaned forward. "I have looked at their technology files. They still use money in some places. They actually use coins and paper bills. It is like they are people who live in caves and trade stones." The Vorlax representative thought this was really funny. He said, "They use coins and paper. It is like they are trading pretty stones." The Vorlax representative was talking about the people who still use currency, physical coins and paper. James felt the heat rising in his face. He made sure to keep a calm face. "We know that the people of Earth have a lot to learn. This is why the people of Earth want to trade with species and learn about their culture. Every species that is here today was once in the place that the people of Earth are now. The people of Earth are looking to species for guidance and knowledge and the people of Earth hope that they can learn from them." "False," said a Luminari delegate. The delegate's energy was flashing with colors that showed it did not care. The Luminari delegate said, "My Luminari species was able to travel than light 1 million years before your planet was even made. The Luminari species was never as simple as you are now. The Luminari delegate looked at them. Said, "You are still very behind the Luminari species." Vexthor walked around his platform, his tail moving in patterns that showed he was better than others. "Let us see what these humans have to offer. They have settled in 7-star systems outside of their home planet." Just 7. The Kethran Empire takes over 7 systems every year. The humans want to trade things like materials, metals and food. These are things that are easy to find in the galaxy, and we often use them for things we do not need, like waste when we build something. Vexthor thought about this. Then said, "The humans think we need these things, but we do not. The Kethran Empire is much bigger and stronger than the humans." Vexthor looked at the humans. Said, "We will see what else they have to say." The humans were trying to trade with the Kethran Empire. Vexthor was not sure if it was a good idea. The Kethran Empire gets what it wants. It does not need the humans. Vexthor was still thinking about what the humans had to offer. A delegate from the Chithar Collective, which is made up of beings, made a funny noise, and the translation device said it in a sharp and teasing way. The Chithar Collective delegate said that the biology of humans is almost laughable. The Chithar Collective delegate pointed out that humans need specific temperatures to stay alive. Humans eat food by grinding it up with the bones in their mouths. The Chithar Collective delegate also said that humans have babies slowly, so it takes a very long time for the number of humans to get bigger. The Chithar Collective delegate found it very funny that humans die for good after 100 years. A Vorlax engineer said this, "Meat bags." The Vorlax engineer's voice was not real. It came from the Vorlax engineer's body. The Vorlax engineer has seen the spacecraft designs of humans. The Vorlax engineer thinks they are not good. They use metal sheets to protect the spacecraft. This is what the Vorlax engineer said. They still use physical armor plating to protect against weapons. The Vorlax engineer also said this, "My hatchlings build sophisticated toys." The Vorlax engineer is talking about spacecraft designs. The Vorlax engineer does not think they are very good. The Vorlax engineer's hatchlings can make things. James clenched his fists behind his back, his nails digging into his palms. He made sure to keep a calm face. His helper, Commander Lisa Park, touched her earpiece for a second. She got some news that made her eyes open a little wider. She gave James a nod. The plan with James was going just like they thought it would with James. Vexthor touched a control surface. A holographic display showed up above the assembly. It was a map that showed the territory that belonged to humans. The Trade Consortium made a decision about the application that was submitted. They said that Vexthor could be an observer but not a full member. This means Vexthor can go to the summits and listen to what's being discussed, but Vexthor does not have the right to vote on any matters. The territory that Vexthor is in charge of is called a development zone. Vexthor is not allowed to expand the territory beyond the 7 systems that it currently has without getting approval from the Trade Consortium. The Trade Consortium also said that Vexthor cannot develop any weapons that are more advanced than the simple kinetic and fusion-based armaments that Vexthor already has. Do not go into Consortium space unless the Consortium gives you permission to do so. The Consortium will let you know if you can enter their space. You have to get permission from the Consortium. James said that is not a trade partnership. He was really upset. His voice did not shake. "That is like being in jail," James said. "You are putting the people in an area of space and not letting them leave. The people are like animals in a cage, James. That is not fair to the people. That is not a trade partnership, it is like the people are trapped." Vexthor said, "We are protecting you." The way he said it made me think he did not really care about people. He thought that when a new species like humans is given much freedom, they can hurt themselves. Humans fight with each other over things they need, things they believe in. They make weapons that are too powerful for them to handle. The development zone is like a place where humans can grow up and learn. Only if humans can survive for a long time. Most species that are not very advanced do not make it. Vexthor said this like it was a fact. The development zone is supposed to help humans. Feels like a trap. Humans have to be careful. They will not survive. Vexthor and the development zone are watching humans. They will decide if humans are ready to be free. The Chithar delegate clicked its mandibles. It said, "I do not understand how simple people like this found our beacon." The Chithar delegate wondered if they just found it by chance when they were playing around with their rockets. James said, "We found some things in space that did not seem right, so we looked into it." The Chithar said, "I stumbled into it." The whole body of the Chithar was shaking with laughter. "This is what I expected to happen." The Chithar said, "They cannot even scan the subspace properly." The Chithar thinks they probably thought the beacon was something that happens naturally until they were right on top of the beacon. A weird guy from the Corlix Collective talked through a machine that helped him speak. "I think we should put humans below the snail herders. The Grethians are really good at using ways to talk to each other like quantum entanglement communication. Humans are still using radio waves. They are actually using radio waves. It is like something from a long time ago. The humans are far behind. They are still using radio waves, which is really old-fashioned. The mockery went on for another hour. People made fun of every part of being human. They looked at how humans live and found lots of problems. Human technology is really old. Human bodies are not very strong. Human culture is over the place. The way humans think about things is not very advanced. Human math is simple. Human art is not very original. The delegates from the consortium did not think humans were as good as lots of species, even some that are not alive anymore, because they made too many mistakes. Humans were compared to every species in the consortium and people did not like what they saw. The delegates thought humans were worse than species in the consortium, including humans technology and humans biology and humans culture and humans philosophy and humans mathematics and humans art. James went through all of this, his face looking very calm and neutral. He had been told that this might happen. Admiral Cross had told James that it was possible that humans would be treated badly, made fun of, and not allowed to do things. Nothing could have really prepared James for how much these advanced species looked down on humans. James was shocked by the way these advanced species felt about humans. Vexthor raised a hand and the room got really quiet. He said, "This meeting is over. Team, you have to go back to your own area now. You must send us a report every year to tell us what you are doing. You cannot try to talk to any species that are part of the consortium without following the right steps, and this can take a very long time. We are talking decades. Maybe after a long time, like 10,000 years, your kids and their kids will be smart enough to have a real conversation with us and the other smart species." James picked up his data tablet, bowed a little. This was a way of showing respect. It did not feel right to him. "The human delegation wants to thank the consortium for listening to us and thinking about what we have to say. We will do what the consortium says and follow all the rules they give us." As Vexthor turned to leave, he said something that was really mean. "Be careful when you walk back to your spaceship, human. Do not hurt yourself. I know that humans are very fragile and they get hurt easily." Vexthor was talking about humans. How they have a lot of accidents. Humans are not as strong as species, so Vexthor was warning the human to be careful. Laughter followed James and his aides all the way to the docking ring. The Endeavor, their ship, was waiting for them in a berth that was far away from the fancy ships of other advanced species. The Endeavor was a ship and it looked pretty basic. It had blocks that made up the hull and sensors on the outside that looked old compared to the other ships. Those ships were smooth. Looked like they were alive. Some alien workers at the dock were staring at the Endeavor, pointing. You could tell they were making fun of it even though they were not human. James and his aides saw the alien dock workers laughing and pointing at the Endeavor. The Endeavor was a ship and it looked really different from the other ships. James got on the ship fast. Commander Park and their other helper, Lieutenant Chen, were behind him. The door to the ship closed with a hiss. James finally felt like he could be himself. He leaned against the wall. Let his feelings show. He was very tired. Felt bad about what had happened. James was exhausted and feeling humiliated. The airlock was closed. He was safe now. James and Commander Park and Lieutenant Chen were all inside. Chen said, "That was really bad, even worse than we thought it would be." James said no. Then he stood up straight. The thing that happened was what the people involved needed, James thought, and that was a good thing. James was happy that it turned out that way because that was what they needed, the thing that happened. He walked to the bridge where Captain Sarah Mitchell was sitting in the command chair. Captain Sarah Mitchell looked up when he came in. Her face said she was wondering what was going on. "How bad is it?" James said that they gave us exactly what Admiral Cross predicted. This was a dismissal. They made fun of us. They think they have all of humanity trapped in a cage of 7 systems. James smiled in a way. They have no idea what humanity really is. Mitchell. Then he opened a secure way to talk to the people in charge. "Hello, Ghost Command. We did what we were supposed to do with the package. All the people who were watching saw that we got the information we needed. The consortium still does not know that the package was delivered by us. The package is what we were talking about. It is done. The people at the consortium never found out that we were there with the package." Admiral Catherine Cross' voice came through the encrypted channel. She said, "Ghost Command confirms. All 217 of the vessels did a great job. We looked at every species to learn about their biology and technology and weapons systems and defensive capabilities. The consortium gave us all the information we needed. They had no idea we were even watching the consortium." James walked over to the viewport. Looked out at the Harmony's rest station. The station was surrounded by darkness. In this darkness there were a lot of warships. Over 200 of them were just floating there. You could not see these warships with any sensor. The humans had made these ships very special. They had something called technology. This technology did a lot of things. It bent light around the ships. It bent radiation around the ships. It even bent waves around the ships. The humans had been working on this technology for a time. They had been working on it for 5 decades. They did not tell anyone about it. They wanted everyone to think they were not very advanced. They wanted to seem like explorers. The humans were very good at keeping secrets. The Harmony's rest station was still there, surrounded by the dark. In the dark, the human warships were watching. They were watching the Harmony's rest station. The human warships were very quiet. They were watching in silence. Admiral Cross asked if they took the bait about our territory. He wanted to know if they fell for our trick. Admiral Cross was really curious about our territory, if they believed what we said. Did they really think our territory was that easy to get? Admiral Cross thought about our territory. How we tried to protect it. Completely, James said. They believe we are in charge of 7 systems. They have no idea about the 193 colonies that we have set up using colony ships that are completely hidden. They saw the Endeavor. They thought all of our ships were like that, pretty old. They never thought that we have big warships, the dreadnoughts, that are 3 times bigger than their largest warships. The colonies are our secret. The dreadnoughts are our secret too. They just do not know about the colonies and the dreadnoughts that we have. James said that the dreadnoughts are a lot bigger than the warships that they have. The colonies and the dreadnoughts are something that they do not know about. Perfect, Cross said. You could tell she was really happy about it. Maintain the development zone cover. Go back to the development zone at the speed. Let them think the development zone is where we are going to stay. The development zone is what they expect from us. Meanwhile, our ghost fleet will keep watching for another month, finding out about the consortium and how the consortium does things. The consortium is what we need to learn about. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what is going to happen when they finally figure out the truth about the situation with the Mitchell is asking about? Became. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what is going to happen when they finally figure out the truth? Then it was changed to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what is going to happen when they find out the truth about this? Then it was changed again to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they find out the truth? Then it was changed to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they discover the truth? Then it was changed again to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they eventually discover the truth? Then Mitchell becomes. Admiral, what happens when they eventually discover the truth? Then it was changed to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they eventually discover the truth? Then it was changed to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what is going to happen when they eventually discover the truth? Then it was changed again to. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they eventually discover the truth? The final result is. Mitchell leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what happens when they eventually discover the truth? There was a pause before Cross answered. When the Galactic Trade Consortium finally figures out what humanity is really all about, it will be too late for them to do anything. They made fun of us today. They said we are not advanced and that we are weak. They treated us like we are animals in a cage. Her voice became really cold. The Galactic Trade Consortium is going to find out that it is not an idea to underestimate humans. Humans are a lot more dangerous when people think humans are not a threat. The Galactic Trade Consortium is going to learn this lesson the way. Humans are like ghosts. When people think humans do not exist, that is when humans can be the most dangerous. The Galactic Trade Consortium will soon see what humans are capable of. James saw the station get smaller as the Endeavor went back to where people live. The people on the Endeavor could not see what was behind them. The strong part of humanity was still there watching and learning. They were waiting for the time to show themselves. The Galactic Trade Consortium made a mistake. They showed humanity where they were weak. They did not know that humanity was watching them from a hidden place. The Galactic Trade Consortium was blind to the danger that was watching the Galactic Trade Consortium. Humanity was. The Galactic Trade Consortium did not even know it. The people who are making fun of us will keep doing it for now. Let them laugh at us. Let them think they are better than humanity. Every time they act like they are superior, it gives humanity time to get ready, more things to think about and more places to defend in the galaxy. Humanity will use this time to prepare and secure strategic positions throughout the galaxy. Commander Park stood beside James at the viewport. He looked at James. Said, "Do you think those people will ever realize the mistake they made with the spaceship?" James smiled grimly. "Eventually. But by then, We will have shown them that the most dangerous species in the galaxy is not the one with the biggest weapons or the oldest civilization. It is the one they never saw coming. The revelation. 6 months had gone by since that bad meeting at the Galactic Trade Summit. During this time, people on Earth had kept up the act of being weak and doing what they were told. They sent in reports to the consortium. Stayed inside the area that was set aside for them, which was called the development zone. They also seemed to be okay with being seen as inferior. The Kethran Empire was keeping an eye on the 7-star systems that humanity used. They did not think that humanity was a threat to the way things were done in the galaxy. The Kethran Empire watched humanity, and the Galactic Trade Summit was still fresh. In their minds they thought humanity was not strong enough to cause any problems. The Kethrans had no idea that humanity spent those 6 months finding out about the Kethrans. Humans learned about every way the Kethrans talked to each other, every single way they defended themselves, and every single thing they did when they went to war. Human ships that nobody could see went into Kethran space. Watched everything like they were hiding in the dark. These human ships saw what the Kethrans were doing. Wrote it all down. Admiral Catherine Cross looked at all the information in her command center, which was inside an asteroid in a place that the consortium did not know humans were in. The Kethrans did not know that humans were watching them from this asteroid. Admiral Catherine Cross was in charge. She was looking at all the things that humans had learned about the Kethrans. Colonel Marcus Webb, who is in charge of intelligence operations, said that they are planning something. He showed us a display that had information about the Kethran fleet movements on it. The display showed that 300 warships are getting together at their base. Colonel Marcus Webb said that the communications they looked at indicate that the Kethran fleet has a target in mind, and this target is in an area that the Kethran fleet still thinks belongs to us. The Kethran fleet is getting ready to do something. Colonel Marcus Webb is trying to figure out what that is. Cross leaned forward, her gray eyes were really sharp and focused. She asked, "Which system?" "New Hope," Webb said. "This is our biggest colony that we can see. New Hope has around 200,000 people living there. Most people who live in New Hope work on farms or in mines. The people from Kethran think that New Hope does not have a lot of defense." Cross asked about the numbers, even though she already had an idea what the answer was going to be. The real numbers were what she really wanted to know about. What were the real numbers, she thought to herself. The real people are safe. Sound underground in our secret places. The things we have on the surface are mostly run by machines. Have very few people working there. We have been getting ready for something like this since our colony started. Webb messed around with the screen showing all the military guns we have hidden in the New Hope system. We have 12 warships that you cannot see, 75 smaller warships, 150 groups of small fighter planes, and enough big guns to destroy a whole planet. The Kethran people have no idea all these New Hope military things are here because they are completely hidden from the Kethran people. Cross stood up. Started walking around the holographic display. She had thought about this moment for a time. She had even hoped it would happen. Cross had quietly told people things that would help make it happen. The Kethrans had to make the move. They had to do something to human space that the whole consortium would see. What is the timeline for the Kethrans? The people in charge at Kethran High Command have told the fleet to leave in 2 days. It will take the fleet 1 week to get to New Hope. They think they will win the thing very quickly after they get there. Webb looked at the messages they had intercepted. The other side is being very open about what they want to do. Commander Zalkar, who is in charge of the fleet that is coming to attack, sent a message to the people working under him. In this message, Commander Zalkar was talking about how easy it will be to defeat the humans before the consortium even has a chance to say anything. Commander Zalkar and the people at Kethran High Command are very confident that they will beat the humans at New Hope. Arrogance, Cross said in a voice. The thing that worries me the most is when someone thinks they have already won. She went back to her command chair. Started a very important call. I want to talk to all the people in charge of the fleets, all the governors of the colonies, and Ambassador Rodriguez. It is time for us to start Operation Daybreak. People showed up on screens around Cross fast. These people were the bosses of humanity, the men and women in charge of the secret empire that covered 200 star systems. The secret empire covered 200 star systems. They had been waiting for a long time for this to happen. They made it look like they were not strong. The whole time they were getting stronger, in secret, building up the secret empire. The Kethran Empire is going to send a group of ships to take over New Hope, Cross said right away. They are bringing 300 warships to fight against New Hope because they think New Hope does not have any way to defend itself. This is what we have been waiting for, the chance for the Kethran Empire to make a move. When the Kethran Empire ships get here, we will show the galaxy who we are. Do you have any questions about the Kethran Empire and our plan? Governor Chin of New Hope spoke first. Her image showed her standing in the command center beneath the colony. Governor Chin said, My people are ready, Admiral. All the people who live on the surface of the colony have been moved to places. The towns on the surface are being run by computers. When the Kethrans arrive, they will see buildings and the people of the colony will not fight back. The Kethrans will find nothing but spaces. All right, Cross said. Let them think they have won easily. Let them set up their occupation. We want their whole fleet to be committed before we do anything. She looked at Admiral Richard Torres, who was in charge of the hidden fleet at New Hope. Admiral Richard Torres, your fleet must stay hidden until I say so. Do not let them see any sign of energy. Do not give them any idea that the hidden fleet at New Hope even exists. Torres nodded. His face was all wrinkled from being outside a lot, and it showed he was pretty happy about something. We have been hiding for 6 months, ma'am. We can hide for 6 months if we need to. The Kethrans will never find out we are here until we want the Kethrans to know we are here. Ambassador Rodriguez showed up on another screen. He is working at a place that helps countries talk to each other in a neutral area of space. Admiral, what do you want me to do about the consortium? They will get reports about the Kethran invasion of the Kethran. The consortium will know that the Kethran are attacking. Let them, Cross replied. Go ahead. File a formal complaint. Act like we are really scared and things are getting out of control. Beg the consortium for help that will never come. Make it seem like humanity is in a spot and cannot do anything to help itself. The more we look like we are in trouble, the bigger the surprise will be when we show them what is really going on with humanity. Rodriguez said, understood. You could tell he did not like this one bit. He looked really unhappy. I will be the person who begs the advanced species for mercy, he said, even though I know they will not give it to the primitive people. Like me, the advanced species will just say no to the primitive people. Cross talked to all the commanders at the time. He said, everybody knows what they have to do. The place called New Hope seems to be giving up without a fight. The Kethran fleet is taking over the colony. They are going to settle and feel safe. Then they will tell their high command about their win. That is when we will surprise them and show them what humans are really like. This is not about protecting one colony. This is about telling the galaxy that we are not simple people like they think we are. We are going to show them what humanity is. The meeting was over. Now people were getting ready all over the place in human space. At New Hope, the people who lived on the surface went down into big cities underground that the Kethrans had no idea were even there. The machines that ran the farms and mines kept on working, making it seem like everything was business as usual. There were 12 dreadnoughts floating around in orbit, and they were all hidden so you could not see them, just waiting quietly for something to happen. 1 week later, the Kethran fleet got to New Hope with a big army. They had 300 warships that came out of hyperspace at the same time, and they were all lined up perfectly. The Kethran fleet had their guns ready. Their shields were working. Each ship was really good at fighting. It was clear that the Kethrans were very good at building them. The Kethran fleet ships were also very pretty. They had scales on them that showed how strong the Kethran Empire's military was. The Kethran fleet thought that they could not be stopped. The Kethran fleet was very proud of their ships. They thought that the Kethran fleet was the strongest. The commander of the Conquest, Commander Zalkar, was standing on the bridge of the Conquest. He had his forearms crossed. He looked very happy with what he was seeing. The Conquest had a screen that showed the human colony. The planet looked really calm. It seemed like it would be easy to attack. There were some cities on the Conquest screen and some areas where people were growing food and some places where they were digging for minerals. These things were on 2 pieces of land on the planet. The humans also had stations floating around the planet that helped them with basic things. You could not see any bases or big guns on the planet. The humans did not have any spaceships to fight the Conquest when it arrived. Commander Zalkar was looking at the colony on the Conquest screen, and he seemed to like what he saw. The human colony on the planet was not ready to fight the Conquest. Check for things, Zalkar told his sensor officer. He wanted to know what kind of assets were out there. Scan for assets now, Zalkar said, again looking at his sensor officer. He really needed to know about those assets. The scans are done, Commander, the officer said. I found out that the colony does not have a lot of ways to defend itself. There are 3 platforms in space with missile systems. The colony does not have any powerful ships. We did not find any bases. The colony looks like it has no defense all. The orbital platforms are the thing that can fight back, but they are not very strong. The colony is much defenseless, Commander. Zalkar's jaws clicked with amusement. This is just what we thought would happen. The humans are not smart enough to fight back. He turned on a way to talk to the people on the planet's surface. People who live on New Hope, the Kethran Empire is in charge of this world now. You have 1 hour to get all your people off the surface. If you try to fight back, we will destroy you away. The Kethran Empire is taking over. The humans on New Hope need to leave. Governor Chen's face was on the screen. She looked really scared. It seemed like she was trying to look that way on purpose. Governor Chen said, "Please, we are a colony. We do not have any weapons. We do not have a military." Governor Chen asked them not to hurt the colony. Governor Chen said, "We will leave as you want us to." Zalkar said, "That is a choice, primitive." He then told them, "You have 1 hour to get out of here. If any of your vessels are still around, after that Zalkar will destroy them." The people of New Hope had to leave away. It looked like a mess and everyone was really scared. Big spaceships took off from New Hope's spaceports, taking people who seemed frightened away from the planet and into the outer system. The Kethran sensors watched every ship and they could see that there were people on them, or so it seemed. But the sensors could not see that the ships were actually empty. They were computers controlling them, following a path that was set before. The real people of New Hope were safe and sound in underground places that were protected by special technology that made them invisible to the sensors. 1 hour later, Zalkar said it was time to land. The Kethran troops went down to the surface of New Hope in big ships. They took control of places on both big pieces of land. Nobody tried to stop them. The colony's platforms in space did not shoot all. They just did what they were told to do, which was to give up without a fight. In 4 hours, the Kethran flag was flying over every city on New Hope. The Kethran troops were in charge of New Hope now. The Kethran flag was everywhere. Zalkar walked through the streets of New Hope's capital. The city was really nice and clean. There was nobody around. The buildings were all still. They looked perfect, but nobody was living in them. It was sad that they did not have to fight very hard to take over the city. Zalkar told his troops to make sure all the buildings were safe. He said they should set up a defense around the city so they could protect themselves. Then he told them to send a message to High Command that New Hope now belonged to the Kethran territory. Zalkar wanted everyone to know that the Kethran were in charge of New Hope now. Admiral Torres was watching what the Kethran occupation was doing from his ship in orbit. He had some drones that the Kethrans could not see, and they were sending him pictures of everything that was happening. His main ship, the Retribution, was staying still 200 kilometers above the big Kethran ship. The Kethran ship was so close that Admiral Torres could see the people on it using equipment that made things look bigger. The Kethrans did not know that the Retribution, which was a lot bigger than their ship, was right above them. The Retribution was a big deal. It was like 10 Kethran ships put together, and it was just floating there waiting. Admiral Torres and the Kethran occupation were in a tricky situation. The officer in charge of tactics told him that all of the Kethran forces are now being used. The Kethran fleet is in the formation they use when they take over a place. The Kethran ground troops are setting up bases in 17 spots on the ground. The Kethran forces think they are in charge of the planet now. Torres opened a line to Admiral Cross. "Ma'am, our plan is in place. The enemy forces are right where we need them to be. We are waiting for your orders, Admiral Cross." On our planet, in the control room where all the big decisions are made for our military, Admiral Catherine Cross was standing in front of a huge holographic screen that showed the New Hope system. 240 ranking officers were watching her from their own screens at secret human bases all over the galaxy. This was the moment that humanity had been waiting for since we first met the consortium. The moment when we would finally show ourselves to the rest of the galaxy. Admiral Catherine Cross and the New Hope system were the focus of everything. The New Hope system was the key to this moment for humanity. Cross took a breath and said the words that would change everything. To all the fleet commanders, all the military places, all the spots where we watch what is going on in human space. Do Operation Daybreak now. Show them what the human space people are like. At New Hope, Admiral Torres turned to his weapons officer. He said, "I want you to send orders to all the vessels we have." Then he said, "I want them to show themselves when I say so." Admiral Torres stopped for a second. He was really enjoying this moment. Then he gave the order, "All of the ships, show yourselves now." This is Admiral Torres giving the order to all the ships. Something strange happened around New Hope all of a sudden. 1 minute there was empty space, and the next minute 500 human warships were right there. These warships just showed up out of nowhere when their special hiding fields turned off at the time. It was really amazing and also very scary. There were warships, fast and sneaky destroyers, and lots of small fighter ships all in perfect lines surrounding the Kethran fleet on all sides. The human warships and the Kethran fleet were now face to face. On the Conquest, alarms were screaming across every bridge station. A few seconds ago the sensor displays had shown empty space, but now they were filled with hundreds of contacts. The Conquest was surrounded by all these contacts. Zalkar was staring at the display on the Conquest in total disbelief. His 4 arms were trembling as he tried to make sense of what the Conquest was facing. The Conquest was in a bad situation. "Commander, we are surrounded," his tactical officer said. His voice was shaking. There are 500 vessels around us. These military vessels have high energy signatures. The energy signatures of these vessels are higher than what we have seen before. These military vessels are more advanced than any vessels we know about. That is impossible, Zalkar whispered. The humans have no fleet, that is what we know. Intelligence said the humans have no capability at all, so this is a big surprise. The humans, they do not have any ships to fight with, that is a fact. Your information was bad, said a new voice on the radio. Admiral Torres showed up on the screen of the Conquest. He looked really serious and professional. I am Admiral Richard Torres from the United Human Defense Fleet, he said. You came into our space without permission. Hurt our people. That is not okay. Turn off your guns and engines now, or we will do it for you. The United Human Defense Fleet will not let you just do what you want in our space. Zalkar finally spoke up. His voice was not as strong as he wanted it to be. You people are not advanced enough. Zalkar does not think you can really have technology like this. Zalkar thinks this is some kind of trick. No deception, Torres said. I am telling you the truth that you were too full of yourself to see. You believed what we showed you at the Consortium Summit. You thought that the 7 colonies you could see were all of our civilization. You never thought that we have been sending people to live in space for a time without you even knowing. We have been doing this for decades. You did not suspect a thing because we were invisible to your machines. He pointed off screen. Show them what we can do. Target the weapon systems of their ship. Hit them right where it hurts with a strike. I want to show them what our space colonization is really about. The 7 visible colonies are a small part of our space colonization. Our space colonization is much bigger than that. The Retribution shot a beam of energy at the Conquest. It hit the ship with aim. The beam went through the shields that were supposed to protect the Conquest. It damaged all the gun ports on one side of the ship. Even stopped the main engine from working. All of this happened in 2 seconds. The Kethran warship was now dead, in space, floating around without any power. The Conquest was completely helpless. The Retribution had really hurt the Conquest. That was a warning shot, Torres said in a voice. You need to tell all of your ships to stop what they are doing now. You have 30 seconds to do this. If you do not, we will make sure that every single one of your ships cannot move. You have to make a decision quickly, Torres added, referring to the fleet. The fleet needs to stand down. Else we will take action against the fleet. The Kethran fleet was in a state of panic. This was because the commanders of the Kethran fleet realized that they were not as strong as they thought. They were fighting people who they thought were not very advanced. It turned out that these people had much better technology. The Kethran warships looked old and useless compared to the technology of their enemies. The enemies had guns that could go right through the Kethran shields. They also had sensors that could see the Kethran fleet without being seen themselves. They could hide in a way that the Kethran fleet could not. The Kethran fleet was no match for this technology. The technology of the enemies was much better than the technology of the Kethran fleet. Zalkar had no choice. All Zalkar ships, power down your weapons and your engines. Do not engage the humans. He turned back to Torres. His pride was really shattered. Who are you really, Torres? Torres said, we are what we said we were at the Consortium. We are people from Earth. We just never told you that we have been getting ready for our meeting with the rest of the galaxy for 50 years. We made technology that you cannot find. We made a group that you never saw. We found out everything about the galaxy while the galaxy found out nothing about us. Torres. It was not a happy smile. We are the people you never knew were watching the galaxy. When the Kethran fleet gave up, Ambassador Rodriguez turned on a message that he had recorded earlier. This message was sent to every member of the Galactic Trade Consortium at the time. You could see Ambassador Rodriguez on screens, in 43 civilizations. This time Ambassador Rodriguez did not sound scared. Like he was giving up. Ambassador Rodriguez sounded different. The Galactic Trade Consortium got to hear Ambassador Rodriguez loud and clear. Delegates of the Galactic Trade Consortium, I remember what happened 6 months ago. You did not think much of humanity. You thought we were not as good as you. You put us in an area called the Development Zone that included 7 systems. You made fun of the things we could do. The technology we had. You also made fun of our bodies. What we are capable of. Today something big happened. The Kethran Empire went into that area. They did not think we could protect ourselves. They were wrong about humanity. The Kethran Empire was wrong when they thought we were too weak to defend humanity. The broadcast showed footage of the fleet appearing out of nowhere, the Kethran invasion force giving up, and how strong the human military really is. Rodriguez kept talking, his voice heard across the galaxy. The human fleet is not just in 7-star systems, it is in 214-star systems. The humans have technology that's just as good as or even better than any other species in the consortium. The humans have been watching them for months, learning about them while they thought the humans did not know anything. The humans have been paying attention to the consortium, learning their secrets while the consortium thought the humans were not smart enough to understand what was going on. The human military is very strong. The humans are not afraid to use it. Rodriguez said that the humans have been learning from the consortium for a time, and now the humans are ready to show the consortium what they can do. The human fleet and the human military are ready for anything the consortium might try to do. We have been here the time we were just invisible and really patient, waiting for the perfect moment to show everyone who the people in question are. The people in question have been waiting for a long time to reveal the people in question. Pictures appeared on the screen showing settlements that the consortium had no idea were even there. These human settlements had warships that were way more advanced than anything the consortium had. They also had technology that could hide humans from sight. The joke that was made at the meeting played again, but this time it made more sense because we knew what humans were really capable of. The laughing did not seem funny anymore. It seemed like the people who were laughing were just being mean for no reason. The humans were not weak like the consortium thought. They were actually very strong. We come in peace, Rodriguez said. We want to work and respect each other. Every species in the consortium should know this. Humanity is not some group that you can lock up and make fun of. We are a civilization and we want to be treated as equals. If not, then we will make our way in space. The decision is up to you. We are humanity. We will not be treated unfairly. Humanity deserves respect. We will find our own way if we have to. The broadcast came to an end. There was silence all over the galaxy. In the room where the Galactic Trade Consortium makes decisions, people were looking at screens and they could not believe what they were seeing. 6 months ago, these people made fun of humans. Now they were staring at pictures of human warships. They were shocked. High Commander Vex Thor of the Kethran Empire got some news about his fleet. His golden scales did not look so shiny anymore because he was feeling ashamed and scared of the Galactic Trade Consortium and what the human warships had done to the Kethran Empire's fleet. The human warships were a deal and everyone in the galaxy was talking about them. At New Hope, Governor Chin came out of the facilities to see Kethran troops being taken into custody by human forces in a peaceful way. This had all happened fast. The whole thing with the Kethran troops had lasted than 6 hours. It only took less than 6 minutes for the humans to show how strong they really were, and that was it. Admiral Catherine Cross was standing in her command center. She was watching all these reports come in from over the galaxy. The consortium species were really confused. They had to think about everything they thought they knew about humanity. For months nobody was talking to each other. Now everybody wanted to talk. The Kethran Empire said sorry and asked for forgiveness. The whole power structure in the galaxy was changing. Other species realized that humanity was a player now. Humanity had been there along, but nobody noticed it before. Operation Daybreak is finally complete, Cross said to her command staff. We are not hiding anymore. Now that Operation Daybreak is done, humanity is out in the open. On the whole galaxy knows about us. We are not stupid or weak, we are strong and smart. The galaxy will see humanity as equals, not as people to be laughed at. Operation Daybreak showed that humanity is ready to be respected. Colonel Webb walked up to me with a data pad. It had a lot of messages from groups on it. Ma'am, we are getting a lot of requests from species, Colonel Webb said. They want to talk about working and making deals. We have had requests for embassy exchanges, trade negotiations and military non-aggression pacts from 37 species far. The person in charge of the consortium is asking for a meeting to talk about if humanity can be a full member of the consortium. Cross smiled as he thought about the laughter that filled the council chamber 6 months ago. He said, we should accept the consortium's request. Ambassador Rodriguez will go to their emergency session. This time Ambassador Rodriguez goes with the full knowledge that the consortium needs to respect humanity. We are not asking the consortium to accept us, the consortium needs to give humanity the respect that humanity has earned. The consortium has to understand that humanity is demanding respect from the consortium. She looked out at the display that showed all the places where humans lived, including the ones you could see and the secret ones that were now being shown. There were 214 star systems, hundreds of billions of people and a big military force that surprised everyone in the galaxy. The humans had waited a time, dealt with people making fun of them and trying to hold them back, and they came out on top because they were patient and got ready, not because they were mean or aggressive. Humanity played it smart. That is why they won. The human territories were really big and strong now. Cross said this quietly. They made fun of us. They called us weak. Said we were not very smart. They thought we were nothing. She turned around to look at the people who work with her. You could see that she was very proud. Now they know how wrong they were. The species that is actually the most dangerous in the galaxy is not the one that has been around the longest or the one that is the strongest. It is the species that sees everything that is going on while nobody pays attention to them. The human species gets stronger when people do not think they are a threat. The one that does not hit with a lot of force. It hits exactly where it needs to, and it does it for a reason. This thing is like that. It strikes not with fury, with precision and purpose. People over the place from Earth to the colonies that are really far away were happy. They were not happy because they fought and won. Because they did something and it worked out just right. Humanity is now a part of the galaxy. We did not get here by asking for things. We got here because we are smart and we worked hard. We waited for a time for the right moment to show everyone how strong we really are. Humanity got to where we're today because of our intelligence and determination. People were satisfied with what humanity has accomplished. That is what they were celebrating. The ghosts had stepped into the light and the galaxy would never be the same.